Well, my brothers and sisters, Sukuna did it again. He did the unbelievable. His big brain 5000 IQ plan has now played out, and it's pretty interesting how this whole chapter turned out. Mahoraga is definitely the GOAT, an absolute tool of destruction, and its only purpose is to destroy the strongest. But I'ma be real, I never expected the wheel element in this fight with Gojo to take such a fast turn of events. This chapter, the wheel spun a total of 4 times and the fight has jumped to the next stage. So first and foremost, let's discuss Sukuna and his use of the Wheel of Dharma and Mahoraga. Right off the bat, Sukuna's wheel has spun for a second time. A countdown has begun and the Dharma has only 2 spins left for the adaptation to become complete. The chapter calls it the countdown of fate. So Gojo needs to hurry up, and Gojo uses various unique applications of blue to get the jump over Sukuna, including using a very unique truth seeker like orbs of blue and different pulling effects to attack him. Honestly, blue is such an insane hack that Gojo has to use in his arsenal. As we see, he's able to find ways to damage Sukuna. However, nonetheless, despite Gojo's pressure, the wheel keeps spinning for a 3rd time. 1 more spin to go before it adapts. Since it does seem to be kind of alluded how the wheel spins compared to the damage taken, the group goes over whether Mahoraga is adapting from time to understand the attack, or is it adapting from experience or taking damage? Since Gojo isn't using anything besides blue, Kashimo points out both outcomes are possible. There is a little diagram highlighting time adaptation versus experience adaptation. It could be both, but it's important that time would mean it adapts after a while regardless of what's happening around it, and experience would mean that it adapts little by little after each attack, which might be why Gojo only uses blue to harm Sukuna to give the wheel less to work with in the Infinity series. Gojo then goes for a surprise attack, hiding his intention to perform yet another blue, yet he actually is using the more powerful reversal red to damage Sukuna. Gojo seems to think that Sukuna couldn't react fast enough to red. However, Sukuna uses domain amplification to suppress the damage of red, and using that amplification, Sukuna can neutralize that neutral infinity, which has a lower output. However, it cannot fully nullify that red or blue limitless because they are limitless enhanced. They have that greater output. Oguruma worries that this can't keep up, or else at this rate, Mahoraga will adapt. Initially, everyone thought this was a misread on Gojo's part. Sukuna thought Gojo was being sloppy this time because he saw how Sukuna actually was reading him. But Gojo reveals that red has not exploded yet, and the actual curse technique is shown to have looped around the structure of the building and slammed Sukuna in the back. Gojo revs up, and we finally see it after so long. The sparks of black. Gojo uses Black Flash and critically punches Sukuna in the chest. Everybody is stunned in amazement at their peer and sensei Gojo freaking Satoru. I mean, just look at Yuta, bro, stay stressing. Bruh. After all that trash talk, all that nonsense, Sukuna is in rough shape from an ordinary guy, as he says. More than likely, he got knocked out. Yes, out cold. That brother is sleep Kuna now from that Black Flash hit. However, Sukuna's plan did work out in the end, as even when Sukuna tapped out in that moment, the Wheel of Dharma spun a 4th time, completing the adaptation. This causes a shadow to emerge, breaking Gojo's footing and trapping him in place like a tar pit. And here he is, the big guy himself, Mahoraga. Makora the Divergent Scylla emerges. Yuta and Yuji call out to their sensei, but Mahoraga closes in with the Sword of Extermination and gives Gojo a strong slash across his abdomen, bypassing infinity and causing Gojo to bleed. The end note reads, "That sword encroaches upon his life." Sukuna did it yet again. There's honestly nothing really more to say. I know what Sukuna is. It couldn't be my GOAT. That's someone's GOAT though, not mine. Mahoraga really came in clutch to save his master Sukuna yet again. Hopefully Sleep Kuna wakes up in time to finish this fight himself. I'm really sure he will. Mahoraga, in my opinion, doesn't seem too fitting to end this Gojo versus Sukuna fight, especially given how much Sukuna has in terms of abilities and lore, because you just might be a little crazy if you think Gojo's going down like this. Sukuna is wicked smart for how he broke down Gojo's abilities and practically used 10 shadows to make sure Mahoraga was adapted for this very moment. Right now, his whole strategy was leading up to this. He got rid of Gojo's unlimited void, he held back his own curse technique, he took all this damage and risks for Mahoraga to adapt and deal with Gojo now. It's a personal thing, it doesn't really take away from the fight, but I find it slightly irritating how Sukuna refuses to use his own abilities first. Gojo might be so broken that Sukuna needed a solution like Mahoraga and the Dharma Chakra to keep up. Unfortunately, that solution fell into Sukuna's hands, and now he's abusing Megumi for everything he's got, literally even using Megumi's very soul like nothing. I'm real curious what Sukuna would do without 10 shadows. That would be very interesting, but if a true sorcerer is like a con artist, you gotta get these wins somehow. But what a freaking Chad Mahoraga is though. This thing sees the future and Gojo is not in it. For real though, this fight is not over. It's kind of expected Gojo would have to fight Mahoraga since Sukuna has it and is going to use it. This was his plan, so I hope Gojo will deal with it. It could be difficult, the hardest thing he's ever done. Mahoraga is a literal hard counter, so it's probably going to be a fight. Perhaps Gojo will reveal something entirely new, like a maximum technique. Maybe Mahoraga specifically adapted to infinity to bypass it, obviously, but I don't know how far the adaptation applies to offensive infinities like blue, red, or hollow purple. Angel themselves said if Sukuna had another way to defeat the Limitless, Gojo will lose, and Mahoraga seems to be Sukuna's answer. But I hope their theory is wrong. Let's pray history does not repeat itself. Gojo was in trouble. Mahoraga will adapt, and this is one of the few times neutral Limitless is rendered ineffective. So we can only hope Gojo will heal with reverse curse technique, he'll analyze Mahoraga, and use the best strategy to deal with his counter before Sukuna tags in. Because if Limitless falls, Sukuna will probably use that famous open, the shrine, Mizushi technique, whatever it is that we're all waiting for, and start cutting that fish. He already is peeling those scales, so to speak. Overall, this was an insane chapter. I'd say I'm surprised at what Sukuna did, but now this is the second time Mahoraga bailed him out of trouble, and yes, even Gojo calls it a bailout by using Mahoraga, but I think it's safe to assume Sukuna was knocked out or slumped over, even if it was just for that moment, but it couldn't just end there. Sukuna cooked up a surefire plan to make sure he was covered. 10 Shadows 100% was a contingency plan. Shrine has yet to show anything that says it can deal with infinity, and Sukuna is history's strongest sorcerer, that con artist, because he played Gojo really bad even though he took a major L. But this Gojo versus Sukuna fight is really good, it's heat. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts on how you view Gojo or Sukuna in the comments below. Again, this chapter was super cool. Thankfully, there is no break next week and we have more peak incoming soon. But I hope to see you amazing brothers and sisters in the next one. Remember to like and sub to support the channel, and for more, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.